Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, where we take 5 minutes to close on our week in the Word of God. Today I want to share with you a few verses out of Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. And the reason that I wanted to share that with us today is it's just, we've been in this Revelation series for quite some time now. We're coming up on the end, and it felt right to really dive into this idea of what it means that the end is coming. Okay, because the end coming is definitely a positive thing for Christians. You know, we know that this present suffering is coming to an end. We know that sin is coming to an end. We know that Satan is coming to an end. We know that all the junk in our life is about over. But it also means that there are so many who don't yet know Jesus, who don't yet know the grace that we have in Him, who don't yet have that same hope that we have. That there's something more than this life. And so as I was reading these verses, it hit me, we've been spending a lot of time focusing on the idea of you as an individual, you taking the message of Jesus, you taking the grace of Jesus, you taking the hope of Jesus out into the world and spreading it with as many people as you can. But sometimes we need to remind each other about that hope that we have, about that grace that we have, about that mercy that Jesus offers to us. Because sometimes we ourselves can become complacent. We can become content to just be present. We show up on Sunday mornings, we hear the good news, we receive grace, and we go home. We do some sinning, we come back the next week, we hear the good news, we receive grace, and we go back home. We're not doing anything with it. We're not taking that love that Jesus gave to us and spreading it with others. And so how do we encourage one another? How do we spur each other on in love and good deeds? How do we encourage people to come together in order that they might be rejuvenated to go out and reach even more people? Because you who are watching this video right now, okay, you are a huge piece of God's plan. But just imagine if your friends, your family members, the people in your neighborhood, those ones who know the truth, if they too were as engaged with this as you were, how many more people we could reach? So how can you encourage your fellow brothers and sisters? How can you spur them on to show love and to accomplish the good works God has prepared in advance for them to do, to go and make disciples of their own for Jesus, not for themselves? I think it's brought up in that middle part in verse 25, where it talks about coming together as a community, finding ways to come together. Church, obviously a great one, but even more than that. Who do you know in the faith who maybe you haven't seen in a while, who maybe you haven't engaged with in a while, who you haven't talked to in a while? How could you come together with them? How could you meet together with them? What's some way that you could continue to build community with them so that they are encouraged? Maybe so that they can encourage you. Maybe you just invite them over to your house. Maybe you invite them out to coffee. Maybe you invite them out to lunch or something. Who knows? Get together. Show up at a park, all right? It's beautiful weather outside. Go do cool things. But what I want to leave you with today is, who can you be encouraging to continue to share their faith with others? Who can you come together in community with in order to spur them on in love and in accomplishing the good works God has prepared for them to do? Who can you help to not only grow in their own walk with Jesus, but grow in their disciple making as they go out into the world? I want you to think about who that is, and then I want you to reach out to them. I want you to connect with them. I want you to commune with them and encourage one another and spur each other on in spreading the good news that we all have, the good news that we know with certainty, that because of what Christ has done for us and our faith in Him, one day we will be welcomed into eternity and experiencing the perfection and goodness that He's been promising us since the very beginning.